Welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast. My name is Josh. Thanks for being here today. Today we're going to go actually down the crazy pieces route. A couple of videos have popped up in my inbox in the last couple of weeks and days, actually. It's kind of getting crazy. We've talked about this family quite a bit, and it's just a machine of adoption and fostering and money and craziness. And it doesn't get any better. Like, it keeps getting worse, to be honest with you. And the more I see, the more is revealed to me of the utter greed of these people, right? So let's go. If you know anything about the Crazy Pieces, they are a Mormon family who adopt and foster, I want to say, probably close to 40 kids through their home. Kids come in and kids go. They use their kids for clickbait. They tell their story that's not theirs to tell. Even young kids, that's not their story to tell. And they do it all without informed consent. And they absolutely are negligent in covering foster kids' faces a lot of the times. And then they got permission from the foster agency to just let them wear sunglasses. It's ridiculous. They'll, instead of protecting these kids like they're supposed to do it, that's why these rules are in place, they're looking for loopholes to not protect them. Right? And we can go down that path another day, but there's so much proof of evidence of them just being lazy about putting these kids on. But today we're going down the video where it's called My Name Is, and it's the name reveals. And we're going to talk a little bit about what they do when the kids come in, the good and the bad of it all, because as you guys know, I'm an adoptive dad. I have adopted children. So I think I can speak on this. And some of my closest friends, like Tom and Mark, are foster dads. And so, you know, lots of conversations that we've had, and we're talking, you know, lots of experience within my sphere of influence anyway. So I can confidently say that I can speak on this. And most of the haters, you can't, so suck it. Anyway, so let's go through this video, and I want to show you guys how before, and I've only seen the first 2 seconds of this video because I had to click it. But what struck me right off the top was look how giddy she is when these types of videos happen, right? It's big money for them, right? And that's all this is. Clicks, views, money. Views, clicks, views, money. The end. Let's do it.
Names. That is probably the number one question I get is, what are the new kids' names?
Exactly. The number one question they get, which is nobody's business. What are the new kids' names? This is I don't know how you say this. This is like a factory. Okay, they get new kids in, new kids go, new kids come in, new kids go. Some kids leave, go back to their bio parents. Just saying. Kids get married young. Kids make really bad choices. Kids leave because they broke the rules. This is like, again, one thing I will say from the beginning of this, and have said from the beginning about families like this, is there's just no possible way that they can give kids who have trauma the attention that they need when they have like 20 of them. Impossible. Impossible. You want to have 20 kids out of your own womb? Still impossible. But what makes it more impossible is that most kids that come from these types of removals, like they get removed from their parents because of the things that the parents did to them, right? They were removed, and the trauma that is placed on these kids is there forever, and these kids need special attention. I want to say 90% of kids in foster and adoption, you know, especially depending on the age that they came out of the system, even if they were babies, they have trauma to be dealt with. And the fact that these people cannot parent these people properly, specifically because there's too many and because they film everything and their life is all online, I cannot be convinced otherwise, is what I'm telling you. That there's no way that they're good parents.
And are they going to be changing them to something different once they're adopted? So today we're going to answer that question, but I'm going to let them answer it. Okay, you guys know we've been doing
again, and if you want to understand the depths of what these people do with their money and things like that, look, I'm all about making money. Go make as much money as possible. I'm not against making money. Do it. If you're doing it legitimately, if you're doing it without exploiting children, cool. But the thing that bugs me the most, and the thing I make fun of, obviously her crazy teeth, is that those teeth and the things that she, you know, the Botox and everything else, and that her and her sisters get, and the nails that they get done, and the $130,000 Teslas they have in their garage and things like that, all that stems from them exploiting children. The only way she got to fix her face and the money she had to do that with was because she exploited children to do so. And it's not about them being good-hearted, adoptive people, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it really isn't. It's really about her. If you come across like you're a good person and you're just doing this for the, helping children, all that stuff, and maybe they are to a degree, but at the same time, focusing on yourself and your brand and everything about you, and you, I no longer can believe you. Like, I understand bettering yourself. Like, I've talked about going to Turkey and getting my hair done and stuff like that and all that stuff, and I get that. But at the same time, if you see how vain it is to do what she does, right? That's such vanity. I don't know if you know someone who is vain. I mean, generally, most people in life know someone who's really vain. Are those people generally really generous, giving, not self-centered? That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to connect the dots for you. They're not. They're vain.
An Advent wall. We've been doing like some kind of activity every day to count down to the adoption. It has helped a ton. And I didn't realize how much it meant to the boys until there was a time last week when we got super busy and the card inside was a ditch day with mom. And so I was supposed to go pick them up for school and do this whole ditch day with everybody. But we were so crazy busy. One of them had a test going on that we just didn't get to do it. And so since then, they've been talking about it, like, when are we going to do that? And I'm like, okay, finally, we're just going to put aside a day. Today's the day. So I'm going to be going.
Okay, hear that. She's ditch day. She takes her kids out of school. Fine. Nothing wrong with that. But what she does with the ditch day, she takes them out of school and films them. She uses it for content. It's not like a day off. It's a day of let's film content, tell your story, and let's make money off of this. And again, a lot of people have said that they do put money aside for the kids. I'm not saying that they don't. I just don't think it's what you guys think it is. Because they spend a lot of money. They have a $2 million compound mansion where they live, okay? They have multiple vehicles. They buy their kids cars. And okay, the kids are spoiled. Cool. Spoil your kids. I get that. I'm not saying the kids aren't benefiting. I'm just saying in the long term, the long end, the long run, these kids will not benefit from their privacy being put online. Because a lot of these kids leave this family under not so good circumstances.
And picking up my two new boys. We're going to do a little ditch day
My two new boys.
together. Unfortunately, our new daughter cannot come on the ditch day because she has softball and she has classes that she has to get done in order to play in her game. So,
unfortunately. Is it unfortunate?
We will ask.
Oh my God, these people piss me off. The reason why these people are so scary too is because they do come across like they're pure, like they're helping, like they're, look at us, we're so amazing, we help adopt people, we're there. But the thing is, these are the scariest wolf in sheep's clothing because of that.
Her about the name when she gets back from school today, but let's go get the boys and they will tell you everything.
Thanks. We're so excited for her to tell us everything. Look at her face right there. We're so excited for them to tell you everything. Ew.
So I'm trying to get to the boys' school, but literally the roads are like ripped up. Like, look over here.
Maybe don't vlog while driving.
The roads are so ripped up and there's no turn signs. I have to go down, I think.
Driving a Cadillac, by the way.
We do have good roads, so maybe it's, double thing.
Maybe it's double thing. She looks like she's going to school. All right, chill. All right, you look like a high school student. Relax. Wearing her Coach backpack. Now, obviously, I'm blanking at these kids' faces, but I need you to trust me when I say things like, look how uncomfortable they look.
I was just looking at the time the whole day until, it was time to leave.
Oh, you're waiting for me to pick you up?
I was too.
Oh, I love that. So I didn't tell the boys what we were doing, but you guys probably saw when we drove up, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how to put this into words. These kids are just there for content. These people adopt and foster for content. You can't change my mind because of this moment right here. It's all content. I would absolutely think that they weren't bad people if they didn't do this. This is part of their whole journey, right? You come to our house, the journey is you're going to film your story, you're going to change your name, you're going to tell people you're going to be, there's a big reveal. Look at the giddiness and the excitement for the reveal. This is about a reveal. This isn't an unboxing, crazy pieces. You don't unbox children. This isn't something you ordered from Amazon you're showing the world. These are children with lives. These are children that were likely taken from their biological parents for traumatic reasons. Okay, these are children that don't deserve to have their story put online without their informed consent, without understanding what it is that you are doing. They don't know the reach of your channel. They don't know shit. These kids don't know any of that. Do you have a conversation with them saying, hey, we have a lot of subscribers. We get tons of views. Multiples of millions of people might hear your story. You might get covered in the news. Do they tell them this? They don't know anything. This is like a reveal video for children, guys. Do you understand how sick that sounds? A reveal for children. They are objects to them. They are content for them. That's it. And that's what makes this disgusting. And the fact that these fostering adoption agencies allow this to continue is really disgusting.
Thought?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little Legoland. So they loved Legos when they first came. They just had a ton of Legos and they've loved playing with them. Ryland's growing out of them a little bit.
Yeah. I gave the rest to Brody because he loves them.
Oh, that was nice of you. It was so sweet. But this should be really fun to play at. So
Yeah.
let's go do it.
So she basically just admitted the guy doesn't like Lego anymore. So let's go to Legoland. Nothing like listening to the kids.
We're gonna make a wish. We're gonna make a wish in the fountain, the Lego fountain. Okay, don't throw it in yet.
Hey, it's too loud.
A question that we get a lot is why would a kid who's being adopted want to change their name? And there's several reasons.
There's actually quite a few reasons. So the number one reason that I can think of is sometimes, so we talk about triggers a lot. And when a kid gets triggered, they're basically thinking of a previous experience and it's affecting them emotionally in some way or another.
Yeah. Like having to rehash their story on a camera? That can't be triggering, no. For the entire world to see? And likely if they go to school, they might have friends that... They might have kids that will bully them and can bring up those videos and use that against them. Look, kids are assholes. Kids will use traumatic events in other children's lives to bully them. It does happen. It happened to me. It happens to a lot of kids. Okay? The fact that they're just putting this out there without consent, again, it all comes down to consent, everybody. It comes down to informed consent. What did Dr. Kirk Honda say about consent? He said no, kids cannot give informed consent. And these people are putting out these kids' stories without their consent. And these kids don't understand the ramifications of putting out their stories. That they should be waiting to put out their stories. It pisses me off that these people do this.
And so a kid's been known by their name their entire life, and if they were...
And I'm not even entirely sure that these people don't pick their children. Again, it's just like... They do. They're shopping for kids. I don't care what you say. This is I know that trafficking is the word. It sounds bad, but this is like trafficking because what they're doing is trafficking children in entertainment. They're trafficking them to this and Crazy Middle's channel to traffic their story to make money. It is trafficking. I don't care what you guys say. It might not be illegal trafficking, but it is a form of trafficking. Meaning they go, there's a menu of children, they pick children, hope not, but I honestly do believe that they pick kids with more traumatic pasts because their story gets more hits. So, if you think about what the idea of trafficking is, it's taking something and selling that thing. So what they're doing is taking these children and using their story and their traumatic past and everything else and putting them on camera and telling their story for money. In the end, it's about the money. That is trafficking. It's just legal trafficking and it shouldn't be legal. If you want to foster and adopt, the rules should be changed. You are not allowed to have an online social media presence of over a certain amount. If you make your money on social media by filming your family's life, you are not allowed to foster and adopt. That's what the rules should be. That is a necessity in this world because there are so many who will do it for money. Again, the only reason I'm sitting in front of you right now is because I covered one of the most egregious versions of that story with Micah Stauffer and James Stauffer and the H situation. Adopting a kid for clout, then just throwing him away. We can't get over it because that's exactly what these people are doing too. They just don't show it the same way, but it definitely happens.
In an abusive situation previously, they might have been being yelled at, but their name was part of that. And so just their name alone could potentially be a trigger.
And I think to go along with that, like they always say, or they always joke about, oh, if they use my full name, I know I'm in trouble. It's like that, but times 1,000.
Not necessarily. No, not all the time. And again, I hope they're really, really giving these kids the option. I know they probably are. But not just the option to have a sit-down conversation with these two dingleberries here where they're like, okay, here, we're going to give you the choices. Here are the choices you can make, right? Except maybe you should take them to a therapist and counseling first and let that be dealt with inside of that. Not on the internet, not in front of a camera, okay? There is tons of therapy and counseling these kids need to go through. I know, it's expensive, okay? And they should be doing it, but they shouldn't be just like, hey, you know, did you ever get yelled at with your name in it? Do you want to change your name for this video? No. Again, I don't think they might have given them the option, but they're not giving them the option. You know what I mean? So they're not really giving them the informed option, which is, hey, your name is your identity. If you want to keep it, I love that. And then here are the reasons you should keep it. But, you know, if you honestly are triggered by someone saying your name, at the same time, too, you have to also help these children develop, how do you say this properly? Not a thick skin, that's a wrong term, but like, you know, an immunity to it. And say, hey, that was the past now. This is the future. You're safe now. So we can help you get past that. You can change your name if you want, but you don't have to. And now that you're in a safe space, your name is beautiful. And you know, that might be the only connection to your parents that you have. And look, I'm the first person to say, you know, I hate that the system is all about reunification in some ways, not all the time, but in some ways. But at some point, still, that's still a connection and a bond that those kids will have with their bio parents. And these people are severing every thread of that. And so I'm conflicted, but at the same time, I'm just trying to look at it from all angles. But there is good news in that they are allowing them, because if that kid does struggle with that trauma, that they are cool and open about that, which I think is cool. But there is two sides to this coin.
It was really associated with something negative. And so they really, even when coming in as a foster child, sometimes would be like, I want to be called this. And it's a completely different name, and we respect whatever that child is feeling.
I doubt it.
And the reasons why they're feeling it. All right, do you guys think that you could have built up anything in that last room for your You think you could build that? No. What? Yes, you could. You guys.
Again, it's not even, look at the vibe you get from her with these kids, okay? Look, I know that they're new to the family and everything, but Crystal is not a mother figure. Crystal is like a daycare provider. Like, she's like a camp counselor. She's not a mother. There's no mothering connection here. And look, I'm not saying that there has to be. And I know that can be hard with kids with adoption. I do get that. But she's more like a friend, a cool friend that takes them places and buys them shit. Again, you can't get around that vibe about this, because that is it. It's the adoption complex that they've created. It's this factory that they've created. It's the way that they traffic, guys. Yeah, she's cool and friends with all of them, but they have crazy rules too. Don't forget it, right? Yeah, and she uses them for content, makes a lot of money on it, and buys new teeth and face and everything, cars and everything else, and braces, and, you know, buys other kids and bio kids other cars with the money that she's made from the other kids, right? I get that. But it's not, the vibes I get are not her of a loving mother. You ever ran into a loving mother before? As someone who didn't have a loving mother for the most part, when you actually meet somebody who is a loving mother, it is a different vibe. You ever been into a home of loving parents? I mean, this is really gonna hit a lot of kids who grew up with, you know, broken homes and non-loving homes. Okay, very, very dangerous, scary homes, abandonment homes, and things like that. So just be careful with this. But those people who did grow up like me in those types of situations, when you actually went to someone's house where they actually had a loving connection and family, what a different world. And you can feel it. It's visceral. And that's what a lot of these kids are missing, and they're going to miss here. They're not going to get that because there's no way they can get that type of attention from somebody who's running this. Impossible. Impossible.
Another reason why they might want to change their name is for safety reasons. I know a couple of families who have adopted kids that were really high risk or high profile as far as just safety goes, and potentially being kidnapped, different things with that. And so they change everything about their name so that their identity is kept secret.
Is it? And then I hope they don't do this. Hope they don't adopt children like that. You know what? Likely the adoption agency, if they have any wherewithal at all, would not let them adopt a child like that, because they're going to be on the internet. Their faces and their likenesses will be all over the internet. So regardless if they change their name or not, they're going to be online. And I hope that these people have not adopted children like that. But something tells me they probably have. There's so many kids that have gone through this system. I'm talking about the crazy system. I'm calling it the crazy system from now on. That it's likely happened. And the fact that they use these children for their content, I can't get over it. I cannot get over it. There's no good that can come from this. The only good that comes from this is the money that they make for themselves. The good is for them. The good isn't for the kids, because the kids are entering into a situation where they won't be in a loving home. I'm telling you, there's no way it can be a loving home. It can be a home of privilege, right? It could be a home of video games, and they're never going to go hungry. They got a pool, they got cars. These kids get jewelry, they get expensive shoes. They're spoiled rotten. Cool. They come from probably poverty, so it's a different world for them, right? But it's different than a loving home. No parent could spread themselves that thin to show the love they need to that many kids. Impossible. I mean, look at 19 kids and counting. They're Christian, Bible-believing, crazy Christian fundamentalists. But even those kids grew up screwed up. And that mom was a stay-at-home mom from the moment they were birthed out of her tunnel. And those kids ended up mostly screwed up too. I'm telling you this, and I wish there were more studies, and maybe there should be. Large families, I'm talking large families, guys, 6 and above, it's really interesting to see. I would love to see the data on that.
So with that, thankfully we're not in that situation. That's not what we're going through in our family, but I do know quite a few foster families who have experienced that. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is do haircuts.
Yeah.
These kids don't look like they want to get haircuts, Crystal.
It's time. Your hair grows so fast. I feel like we just had it perfect and then it grew. But there is a long wait. So we're going to get ice cream, and there's a little park around the
And we're going to tell stories of their lives that they shouldn't be telling.
corner, and then we're going to go over the names and what they chose.
See what she did there? We're going to go to the names, right? She's coaching them. This is coaching. These kids, you can't see their face because I have them blurred out, but I'm looking at the kids' faces. These kids are uncomfortable. I'm really good at reading body language. I'm really good at reading people. One thing people accuse me of so much is not, doing a ton of research about the people I cover. I'll be with you there on that. But I'm really good at reading people, okay? And these kids are not, they are being coached, and they're not comfortable with this at all. They might be down with it because they just got to go to Legoland, and they got electric cars. They're going to get their, whatever they want to eat, pizza. They're out of school. But hear this, guys. This is coercion. These kids are being pulled out of school, which is awesome. Getting pizza, going to Legoland, buying electric cars, having fun, getting toys and everything else. They're doing all this stuff because they have to do this one thing they're about to do. That's coercion. And if you look at their faces, and unfortunately, the only time I'll ever tell you to go watch a video. Go watch their video and watch these kids' faces, and you tell me what you think. Okay? Because these kids do not look comfortable with this. They are being coerced into this, even if it's not like outward coercing, like, hey, if you do this, you'll get this. No, she did the thing first, and then she's leading up to this moment. She's trying to soften them for this, because this is crazy.
This is their new name. All right, let's get some ice cream.
No. I am these kids. I am these kids, and they're just trying to... Oh, it's so scary. Kids who come from trauma, who come from poverty and everything else, are so easily manipulated by giving them things. I can't tell you how many times I knew that my mother felt guilty for things, and so the way that she overcame that, like, I'm going out tonight, right? And I'm going to leave you home by yourself. You're 12 years old. I'm going to go out. And those are the moments in my life I can have the most anxiety. Okay? And again, yes, my story is coming, I promise, guys. But to mitigate my mother's guilt for those moments, she'd always give me money, or her friends would. And it did feel good. Okay? So yeah, and then you would use that. You would absolutely use that. It's a scary thing. It's triggering me a little bit, not gonna lie.
You're scared?
Yeah.
She just said it. You're scared. Yes, I'm scared. So don't film this, Crystal. He just admitted to you on camera that he's scared. That right there, to me, even if you think kids can give consent, that right there is not consent. He took away his consent by saying, I'm scared. Right there, everybody. If you watch no other video on Crazy Pieces or any other piece, that right there, that moment right there, should speak volumes. If she continues to go now and tell his story, she's doing so without his consent, with him just admitting he's scared.
It's gonna be weird.
What's weird about it?
It's gonna be weird.
Like, finally getting awkward out or having to wear sunglasses.
It's true.
See? Whoa! It's gonna be weird finally being able to get on video, not have to wear sunglasses. Hear this out for a second. How normal is it? Okay, in a loving family, where in order to actually take part in the family and what they're doing, in this case, filming, you have to wear sunglasses. In order to go out with them, to go do things with them, you have to wear sunglasses. even if you're not comfortable doing so. You have to be hidden because these people's lives are so public. I cannot believe I'm seeing this. This kid's like, finally we get to take sunglasses off. They cannot participate in this family and be who they are because they have to stay hidden because this family's public. So they're forced to hide themselves inside this safe, loving home by hiding themselves. You seeing that, guys? Are you there with me on that? Are you there? Wow.
Last 8 months has been constant blur.
8 months.
Now you don't have to worry. Nothing.
Can't wait till nothing.
That's disgusting. Crystal, you're a disgusting piece of trash.
Oh, I can't wait either. Another thing.
And here she said, no, I can't wait either. They're so excited to get these kids on camera. It's like a big benchmark, a pivotal moment on their channel when a kid can no longer has to be blurred or wear sunglasses. It's so big for them. Oh, I can't wait. You guys seeing that with me, right? I can't, even their fans, I don't think realize that they're watching this unfold like this. They're so excited to be able to put these kids on camera.
Question that we get as far as with names is middle names and last names. So that was mainly the first names that we're talking about. So when you adopt a child, your name goes on their birth certificate, like you gave birth to them. And so as far as last names, it changes to yours, though I suppose if they wanted to, they probably could. But the paperwork would be done a little bit differently. So their last name will all change to Pettit. And then middle name, same thing, it's just a preference. I will tell you.
Preference. I know you guys don't make fun of her teeth. She can't even speak anymore. She wants to look so perfect, but she can't even speak anymore.
Well, I don't want to give anything away, but a couple of the boys did choose middle names that had a significant meaning in our family. So we will give you that little
Joseph Smith
hint, but I'm just super excited for this adoption and by the time you're seeing this, adoption would have already went through, so it went really well. You'll have to stay tuned to see it all, but I'm just so excited to have them as our forever kids, and I just love them. All right, we're at the park eating our ice cream, and are you guys ready for your name reveal? Okay.
Look how excited and giddy she is, guys. I'm sorry. She knows that this is big bucks. It's all that is. It's just like, oh, you ready for this? It shouldn't be this. Again, this is not her story. And they just told you they felt uncomfortable with it. Ah.
He's gonna go first. Okay, tell him your name now, and then tell him what you're changing it to.
And I'm gonna blank those parts out there. I'm not gonna show you their names because I don't want that on my channel. So she just gave away their old identities. And if their crazy fans want to look up these kids' mom and see what they did, it could be very traumatic what happened. Could be criminal. Could be lots of things. But they might want to look that up and have information that they shouldn't have. What if his enemies want to have that? Again, he's a teenager, probably doesn't have enemies, but he might in the future, right? What if they want to have normal relationships in the future? Dating relationships. That person can go look at that and look up the past that they might not want you to know.
And I'm changing it to...
Yeah, so both of them...
You're gross, Crystal. You're gross.
...have chosen not to change their first names. So this is Rylan and Liam. I love your guys' names. Guys,
I love your guys' names. Or you could just say, I love your names. Make sure your kids stay in school.
I was glad that they didn't choose to change it because I feel like they fit you guys perfectly.
So let me hear this right, Crystal. You love that they didn't change their names because they're nice names. Are you kidding me right now? So the other kids who've changed their names, they weren't nice names? What?
Yeah.
I can't imagine calling you anything else, so. Change their name. And we totally love that too. And so there's sometimes when it is their identity and they love the name, they feel connected to the name, it's something they've known their whole life, it's something that's familiar. So in a lot of cases, it's not best to change their name either. So it kind of just depends. Every kid is completely different. Every situation is completely different.
I will say the 3 kids that we're adopting all have...
So you could have just done this video and be like, hey, these 2 boys that we adopted, they didn't change their names. So... what you knew them as before, you know them now. But they made a big-ass, giant-ass deal out of this. This is crazy that they made this big of a deal out of that. Think about that for a second. The content is king.
Have very fitting names for them. I love them. They're really cute names, and yeah.
We're all
Okay. Thanks. Like that matters.
done at the park, so we're gonna go over and get some haircuts now. So when they first came, I'm glad that they I'm glad that they chose not to change their name because their names just fit them so well.
This is gross that they keep repeating this. Their names are nice, so we want them. But the other ones, I'm glad they changed them because those names sucked ass. No. Stop doing this. Your kids will watch this shit. You idiots. The fact that you don't even understand that means that you don't even know anything. It means that you are not loving parents. It means that you don't take into consideration your children's feelings at all. I mean, obviously you don't. You put their stories online for the world to see. You change their names. Okay, you get so excited. You force them into being hidden until they're legally don't have to be hidden anymore, and you get so excited about it. They are not allowed to live they're not allowed to be like, imagine this moving into a family's house. Finally, you get out of a shitty situation. Okay, but if the camera's anywhere near, you got to put these sunglasses on. You can't say your name. Everybody make sure that they're not, basically they're ignored in the video. You're not here, basically. Can you guys hear that? Are you guys there? Something that's kind of just really popped in this video for me.
But another thing I wanted to say really quick. So when they first came, their hair was kind of like a security blanket for them. And they didn't really want to cut it. And so we went for a little while without like any haircuts or really anything in the very beginning. And now they're like, let's go cut it. Let's go. And they just really have opened up.
No, we saw what they said about getting their haircut. They were very apprehensive about it. So you're lying.
And it's almost like a metaphor for taking those walls down and really just being so open. And so I love that. And they're just the sweetest kids ever. Oh, that was my other thing I was going to say. So even though we didn't bring Logan and Brody today because they had school and everything, and I wanted to just get some one-on-one time with them, well, one-on-two time, I guess. I knew going into it that they would do something for them. And so Rylan picked out a sucker, and he's like, I'm going to get this to Logan when I get home. And then also they picked out Brody a Lego set. So they're always thinking of other people, and that's one of my favorite things about them.
Yeah. Before I came to live with you guys, I had a dream that I went to go live with YouTubers.
So what does that mean?
My dream came true.
Dreams come true, guy.
Yeah.
Aww. Okay,
No.
something that's so cute and so funny, really quick, is our new daughter. She's like really outgoing and goofy and just so fun. I can't wait for you guys to get to know her. She's so cute. And as far as being on camera, so the kids are used to camera because they've been around us for the last 8 months. They're just not used to talking to the camera. They've kind of been in the background or just, a part of the family.
Ew. Again, this is why it's a company, guys. This is not a family. It's a company. This is an entertainment company. And it's a shitty one at that.
We're there. So we even gave them the try. I was like, do you never want to be on camera? Like, you don't have to be. Like, it's totally fine. Okay. And at first, the two boys were like, oh, we love the cat. Like,
That speaks volumes because I don't believe them. Because of all the kids that have come through their house, I'm sure at least one of them has said, I don't ever want to be on camera ever. But that's not the case, right? You don't ever see that. All of them are. Why? Coercion. That's why.
We just love it. But our daughter was like, I don't know. She was just really nervous and that kind of thing.
Spit it out!
After a couple of months of seeing us vlog and that, she was like, actually, I really do. And she loves TikTok and social media and all of that. So she's like, I do. I just don't know how to talk. And I'm like, you just talk. All right.
Yeah, you're real good at this. Don't take examples from her. She's terrible.
She is home from softball and she's going to tell you her name and what she's changing it to. Are you ready?
Wait, what?
Now? Yeah, go ahead.
My name is...
This is not funny. This is not funny. She's clearly uncomfortable.
My name is Isabel Goff?
Yeah.
She doesn't even know her own name? Man, sounds real secure.
My name is Isabel Goff and I'm changing it. Oh wait, and I go by Bella and I'm changing it to Pettit.
That's so embarrassing for you, Crystal. It's not for her. It's embarrassing that you would do this to somebody. You're disgusting, Crystal. You're disgusting. These kids, again, everybody thinks this is all funny and everybody's laughing. In the end, when we see what comes out of this whole situation with the crazy piece and crazy middles, nobody's going to be laughing, right? Maybe some kids will turn out okay, but some of these kids are not going to be turning out okay. And everybody's just laughing it up right now. It's all fun and games now.
My name is... Until that Bella isn't used to talking to the camera.
You're gross.
But she's getting there.
You're gross, Crystal. Again, this is a training camp for kids to be on YouTube too. You can tell she's not used, but they'll get it. Hear that for a second. These kids don't like being on camera. Some of them hate it. They're not used to it, but they'll get there. Because that's what we do here at the Crazy Pieces house. We film our lives for money. We film these kids' stories and change names and tell shitty stories for money. That's what we do here.
But so to answer the question is she is not changing her name. She's not changing her middle name. She is only changing her last name. So, and she likes to go by Bella. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Garbage. This is very eye-opening to me. Obviously, I have not seen tons and tons of the content, just the ones that kind of snark on or that I talk about. But a lot of really eye-opening moments in that video. She doesn't care if the kids are uncomfortable. Oh well, tell your story. I honestly, low level, think that she chooses the kids that are going to bring in the most viewers. It's like a menu. I would have, if anybody has, and maybe I'll go down their path, maybe could someone just send me one, a video of how they actually choose the children that they adopt. Be very eye-opening to see that, to be honest with you. And the idea that living in the home, when you're just in the fostering part before the adoption, that you cannot be who you want. You have to hide your identity. Does anybody see a problem with that? A loving home where you have to hide your identity. You're already pretty much an erased child before you get into the system, right? A lot of these kids are taken from their homes because they're erased. They are hidden. They are hurt, abused, forgotten. And then they come into a home where they have to be forgotten or in the background for the foreseeable future until they can become adopted. You know, and everybody see a problem with that, adding to the trauma? No? Okay. Just me? All right. Again, I speak from experience, everybody. That's why I can have a voice on this. And I think anybody who follows me, who has grown up like that, regardless if you're adopted or not, who understands trauma and being abandoned and being the forgotten kid or being the invisible child or whatever the case may be, knows the trauma that we've dealt with and the fact that these people don't even realize it. And they're like professional adoptive parents. That's scary, everybody. Wow. Very eye-opening video. We're going to cover the next one. We're going to keep covering them because they're gross and they need to be exposed. I really want to have a conversation with the adoption agency that they use. If anybody knows the name, I still haven't got the name of the adoption agency that they've used. I won't say it on this channel, but I want to reach out to them and ask them a bunch of questions. Really important. Or any adoption agency, just to see why this is okay. Just putting kids in more situations that could end up being traumatic in the end. Again, we're going to go down their video where their son, I think is one of their oldest adoptive kids, is engaged after knowing this girl for like, 6 months or some craziness, and he's 18, and they're all good with this? Oh my gosh. These people are nuts. Everybody take a deep breath. Nice. You guys are awesome. Protect the kids around you, and be a voice for those like this. That's what I'm trying to do, because they don't have a voice. They're being represented by these people who are taking advantage of them. So try to be opposite of that. And don't ever forget your value and your worth. And I will see you tomorrow.